Hello and welcome. Welcome back to the U.S. Amateur Championship. This is the 2011 edition of this particular tournament ran by the APA. We're here to watch a match between John White and Aaron Frady. Aaron is at the break, and they have elected to play 8-ball first. I'm J.R. Calvert with Inside Pool Magazine. Joining me here in the booth is none other than Freddie Agnew. Freddie.
JR, thank you for having me here. This is a great pleasure here in my home area, St. Petersburg area. This is actually Palm Harbor, Florida, just north of St. Petersburg. These guys are playing 8-ball. We're at Strokers, one of the great places around here. A lot of great pool halls around here. I'm very surprised to see how many good places to play around here. A lot of the areas in the Northeast have died out, and yet here we are in another place. This place has a lot of players every single day, which I'm very surprised. The leagues in this area, JR, are very strong. One of the oldest, if not the oldest league, is out of the St. Pete area, out of the bar called, the very famous bar called Flamingo Bar. So for all of you who've been out there, anything about the pool world, the Flamingo Bar in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, excellent. Now, what do they have there? A couple of 3 9-footers?
In the Flamingo Bar, they used to have 3 9-footers, but the bar tables have taken over. But there's still the 1 9-foot table that is set up for one reason and one reason only, for action. Right below the sign that says "No gambling allowed."
I love the sign from the Derby one year where it said no gambling.
No gambling.
Well, we've got a treat here. We've got John White. For those of you snooker stars, snooker players and fans, you kind of know who John White is.
John White is from Toronto, Canada, snooker player.
He owns a little place up there called Shooters. We did the Clash of the Titans.
Nice.
4-man invitational. Shane Van Boning, Alex Pagalion, Jason Clatton, John Mora, and boy, we had a party for 3 days. Had a few 100,000 people tune in, and boy, I'll tell you, it was just a lot of fun. We're going to be returning there this year. I was talking to John about it a little bit, but he loves pool, and he certainly loves the idea of, having a tournament that's a spectacle. He wants a spectacle.
Absolutely. So I know some of you know, you just said, if those who know snooker, so for those who are confused, we're not talking about Jimmy White. We're talking about John White from Toronto, Canada, the 1990 senior snooker champion.
1990 seniors. Oh, man.
He'll come up here and yell at me for that. No, he's the
we're gonna beat on for that.
The 1990 Canadian snooker champion.
No, John's a good guy. He enjoys a good joke, and he's, everybody that knows him knows that he's got, pretty good personality. So we can say that and joke with him and know that we're not going to get beat up. Too bad.
So back to the game here. So,
well, it looks like Aaron has got ball in hand with a couple of problem balls. He's got the 6 that he's looking at, but
the 7 ball really is the whole game there.
Yeah, unless he's planning to break it out right now, and he's better have a pretty good touch, because that 11's going to stick to where he's at, because the 9's going to make it stay.
Well, this is a delicate shot, JR, and I think he really needs to step to the other side of the table to make sure that he comes underneath the 7 and bumps it out. I think that's what he wants to do, and he really didn't hit that very well unless he's trying to play the 7 safe here.
There's no real flow with what he's doing right now. I'm not really convinced that he has a plan that's going to work.
It is interesting to say that because he does list himself as a former APA. Well, it says here APA 9, but we are playing 8-ball. But so APA 9 and the 9-ball, I would expect him to know 8-ball very well. He never looked at that 7-ball. I'm sure everybody out there is looking, saying, "What's he going to do with the 7-ball?" Now he's shaking his head.
Yeah, right now he says he wants to say hello to everybody over at Sticks Bar and Grill. I think the folks at Sticks Bar and Grill are saying, "Don't shoot the 6."
He had a good opportunity to play a little safety there and tuck it behind the 9-ball, but he just decided to kick that 7-ball out, and he got a little bit fortunate because the 9 and 11 do not line up.
Yeah, John's got a little bit of work for himself. And, as far as things go, I think what I see is he could really just play safe here.
I think so. I like playing the safe and breaking these 9-11 out and having his balls wide open.
And knock the 9 in front of a hole and say, run out from here, lest you let me start with a hanging 9-ball.
And this is no picnic here. But he'll leave it safe if he doesn't make it. So he had a 3-way shot going on there, JR. If he makes that ball, he's breaking out the 9 and 11 and leaving long for this 3-ball. But if Aaron happens to jack up or just soft roll this 3-ball in, he should get out.
Yeah, that's all he's got to do. He's got to jack up, slow roll it past the point.
I forgot where I'm at here. I thought I was watching Shane Van Boning shoot, but
this isn't Shane versus Alex Pagalian, but
There you go. He's going to try to roll that ball in, and you're right. There it is. You got to get past the point.
You never think that thing's there. You go, well, that's only like 64th of an inch at that point.
I am convinced that it leaps out at you because it leaps out at me every single time. I know it wasn't there before. John steps up to the table. It really is wide open at this point, but oddly enough, the first shot is tricky because the 9-ball covers half that pocket, so one of these balls won't go. It looks like he's going to actually play the combination of the 13-9.
Well, you got to roll this ball. You can't shoot it. You got to roll it.
He hit every ball on the table.
He hit everything, and it's still wide open. Balls win.
Two balls win, and there is wide open. I mean, that's strong APA 8-ball right there. And believe me, for all those people who are saying, Freddie, go out there and shoot it yourself, I would make a mockery of this game.
Yeah, I've been known to, donkey it up myself with this game. And, but right now I think John's doing a pretty good job at just getting out.
That's right. Slide this over to the center of the table after the 10-ball in the side pocket. You'd like to get dead straight on the whatever the stripe is on the right. The colors here are just as beautiful as normal during commentating. Can't tell what ball is out there. I assume it's the 12. It could be the 10. Could be the 14. Could be the 18. One rail back towards the center of the table.
And he's called his pocket. I don't think it was pretty, it's just a formality at this point. But, yeah, he's pretty much straight in.
Oh, no, look at this. That's a little bit, and he looks up to the stars, and he knows he got away with it, but 1-0. 1-0 John White.
Now this table's been racking a little bit tough, so we're going to take a commercial break right out of the gate here, folks, and see how they set up for everybody. Well, they are racking, a little bit tough. It looks like right now Aaron's got a little bit of a problem racking these balls. He's switching the rack around.
How's the breaking here? Is it a winter break or is it alternating?
It is winter break.
Okay. I played in this format before where it was alternating because they try to make it as fair as possible. You change formats, and there's the possibility that, every possibility in the world that you'd be playing both formats. But if they're playing winter break, this is the type of environment where, especially the top players, the 7s and 9s, might string a few racks. He's got it together. I think John broke the first rack, and I believe he hit the second ball in the break. And the APA, do they still allow the 8 ball in the break as a win?
Yes, they do. And we've actually seen a couple already.
All right, here you go. Second ball breaking here. No.
Oh.
And then he fooled me by hitting the head ball.
You know, that's their job, is to make us look like fools.
and even seeing them lined up, it looked like he was going for the second ball all the way.
Looked like he was stroking low English.
Yeah, he heard me and said, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. Looks like he made a low ball in the break.
And this is make it, take it, is what I call it. Kind of like after the basketball, I call it make it, take it.
Make it and take it, so he has to shoot the low balls. I don't know what happens with a 5-7. If the 5 ball goes, then he'll be shooting the 1 in the side pocket, maybe running right into the 11 ball.
He might try and nudge it just a hair if he can. Looks like it's got a 2-degree cut.
Oh, it's going the other way.
Oh, the other way.
And that goes nowhere.
And that's leading him down to the 3-4 or the 7-5. Might look. He's looking at it like
it's wired.
It's wired. If it can, what he needs to do is make sure that he leaves the 5 somewhere where it can be made.
He's shooting right at it, so it does go. And the 5 should be trailing towards the left corner pocket. No, I'm just no idea what's going on here. What I do know, it's wide open. I'd like to see him run out here so I don't have to commentate too much.
It'll be beer 30 soon, folks.
That's right. You know, the tricky part of this run out, a lot of people will misjudge what happens to that ball near the side pocket. If you leave it late, it's tough to get back to the 8 ball. If you hit it early, then suddenly you're out of position for the 5-6.
Right.
Well, you can't hit it now.
A lot of that can depend on whether the 8 goes past the 14 or not.
That's right.
And if it doesn't, you have to use the 5 as your break shot or your insurance shot or your key ball, I mean. Oh.
And so much he was thinking about that the ball on the side. I think it's a 2 ball, could be the 4 ball. And I know a lot of people might think that he just dogged this ball. I'm going to tell you that ball in the side pocket was that much of a concern that he had to try to play perfect for it, and then suddenly he forgot all about the ball in the corner.
Sure,
pocket.
that happens. I mean, he's just getting warmed up.
Remember, people out there, this is the amateur nationals.
U.S. amateur nationals, not the professionals of the world.
This is not the U.S. Open 9-ball or 10-ball championship. It's the amateurs.
You know, what I like about this tournament the best so far is the way the dress code chart is. It's made specially for the pool player. It has pictures.
Oh, that's right. It has pictures. It has pop-up pictures. This you can wear. Hat, you cannot twist it to the side. Oh, no hats at all.
No hats at all.
Oh, my goodness. What's this world come to?
It looks like a J. Crew ad turned into a pool player.
No J. Are you drinking? No J. Crew hats. No shorts. No shorts. Yes.
Drink it and like it.
No shorts. No hats.
Yeah, those are.
This was a nice safety. I believe he pocketed the 3 ball and left him behind the 9 ball. John is looking at 2 rails. I have no idea which ball he's running for here. Everything looks covered. Maybe the 6 or the... Oh, I don't think so. No, it didn't look like that angle was there. Not with that...
Yeah, it was a little tight.
Wide open for Aaron Frady here. Let's see how he makes out with it.
Chunga Robinson, table 14. Jared Coley and Chunga Robinson, table 14.
This is the type of rack that really will show whether or not how he's going to stay up against John in this matchup. He has wide open table, ball in hand.
Well, he's doing good because one of the things, people will get into a trap where they'll leave their basically their key ball as the ball closest to the 8, and it's not always the case.
Not always the case in 8 ball.
Not always the case. And in that case, the 5 and 6 were wreaking havoc on him getting straight in or an easy controllable cut shot to be killed for that 8 ball on the bottom rail. He could have easily ended up behind a 6 ball had he got somewhere that wasn't even near the 5 and 6. So now he's working it, and I love the fact that he's leaving the 13, and he has all these balls to decide how he's going to fall onto the 13.
That's right. In fact, right now, the trickiest ball is going to be the 9 ball, the 9 to the 13, or getting to the 9 to get to the 13.
Sure, because he has to go up above, and it's not a transition from end of the table to end of the table. We're talking 4 diamonds tops.
I really like this play because now he takes that 9 ball right out of play right now, and the 10 leads to the 13.
It's a natural roll. It's not a low cue or a side spin roll. He knows the angle, and he can control it fairly easily. Yeah, I like that a lot.
What I'm surprised though is that he didn't, and I fault a lot of players for this. He didn't go over there and take a look at it, and he got there, but it'll bite him more times than he realizes by not just taking the time to take a look at what he's got to go for the 9 ball. But he got there. He was able to reach it. Following 2 rails might get him in trouble, but he got there.
He got there. Buddy Hall once told me. He says, JR, he says, when you're learning, you got to look at it and make sure, you know what's going to happen in the future and how it works. And I go, yeah. I says, but why did you still do it? And he goes, well, now I know what I'm looking for. and that's the truth. I mean, you have to look at that shot every time, whether you're a pro or an amateur.
So I think it was a pretty good run out with ball in hand, and I think the key was when he took the ball in the bottom left corner to come 2 rails around, get to the center of the table with his best opportunity to get anything, knowing full well he leaves the 13 as his last ball, and then he works from there. An 8 ball, it's not like you just make one plan and then stick to it. Every time you shoot, you have to make up a new plan, even if it's the same plan. You recheck to make sure your plan is good.
Right. There's no harm in that.
That's right. Nobody comes out of the stands and say, nope, penalty.
Yeah.
you got the wrong ball next. Aaron looks like he's going to hit the second ball. Let's see what he does.
He's breaking like he's going to hit the second ball.
And he did, and he went forward. A lot of people like to draw that to the side rail.
Well, it looked like he didn't have draw on it. I mean, it just flew off like a flat ball hit.
Yeah.
And generally, that'll get you trapped under the rack. He got a good kiss.
He went 2 rails back out and a kiss back up table. Looks like. Yeah.
Well, I like the stripes. But the problem is that the 8 ball is trapped by both solids.
Yeah.
And both corners are blocked up. So the solids could be very well in control.
Yeah, if he could make a first ball, and he might have to shoot the 7 and just clear that out. And like you say, if you shoot
running balls,
right? If you shoot the stripes, you get trapped by the 5
or
and 7.
The 2 is what he's shooting at. It looks like they're wide open though.
Usually,
if one goes, the other goes at this point.
And it's odd because exactly what you're saying. It must go, but then he shot them right into each other. So, what does that mean?
Exactly. Well, John, I believe that one of his accomplices is playing in a women's tournament.
What?
Yeah. So I believe that there's a whole crew down here, and So
I'm not sure which one's worse. He's the senior champion or the women's champion.
I didn't say that he was.
Oh,
I just said one of his accomplices here.
Oh, I thought you said accomplishments.
I love it.
Commentating at his best, folks.
That's right. Pronunciation. Let us show you how to conjugate a verb and how to pronunciate. No, but I know that he's been going back and forth. I saw him earlier today, and he says, "Yeah, I have a 4:30 match." But you can see that we might be running a little bit late today. Okay. So he's a little bit off his schedule, I think.
That was quite a shot there, JR.
Left-handed
back cut combination into a not hanging ball.
And I saw that he took a long time looking at it. What, 10, maybe 5 seconds.
That's right. And look at this possession. That's perfect.
He's right on it. Meanwhile, we put poor Aaron Frady in the guy who's going to be mauled alive by John White, and right now he's in position to take a 2-1 lead.
Well, it's early.
It is early.
That's a good shot there. A lot of amateurs will overstroke that or understroke it, afraid that they will go too far. And when I say amateurs, I mean me. I would have screwed that whole thing up. It seems so simple.
It's
just cut this ball in and shoot the 8 ball in the same pocket. Look at he's in dead punch now.
Oh, he's hitting it.
And, the only reason why it took 10 seconds for that combination, because it took him that long to switch the cue over and reach over the table. That took 9 seconds.
I don't think he's Luke Salvas, but he's certainly not Greg Fix or Dick Lane.
That's right.
He's over on that other side.
He's going fast. He has that premonition type of shooting. He already knows what he's going to play way before he gets up to the table.
Yeah, he sees the game, which is actually a pretty good thing to have. There's certain guys that you just got to sit there and watch him reinvent the wheel, and it's like, well, you go
ball,
off the rail, and it goes towards this ball. You've done this 100 times. Why is it a complicated thing?
Well, I mean, you talk about someone like a Dick Lane who takes that long just to shoot that straight stop shot.
Yes.
Oh, ball off the table. And the balls didn't break up, so it's not really, I don't think it's going to really hurt him. Is it behind the line in APA 8 ball? I thought they changed the rule recently.
No, I think it is behind the line with the break only, and then after that it goes to ball in hand anywhere. And it's no bargain here either way. I mean, even if he had ball in hand all over, it's brutal. It's just not a good thing.
Yeah, this is where I think that if the APA needs to catch up to the rest of the world to change the rules. A lot of people out there think that the APA rules are different because of the amateurs, and that's really not true. When the APA started back in the 80s, the rules that they play today are pretty much the rules that the professionals played.
Yeah.
They played no call, ball behind the line, things like that.
Well, Terry Bell and Larry Hubbard were both professional players. And
exactly. So whatever rules they knew, that's what the rules were.
Right. Now, there are a few other pros that started out the APA. Most people don't know that.
Is that right?
Yeah, there was a group that got involved in that in the beginning, but
those are
the
the
real
two guys.
founders
Those are the two guys that get all the
that had the vision, that saw how it all worked.
What year was that, JR?
I believe, don't mark me on this, I believe it was 1978.
Wow, I thought it was in the 80s, so I'm way off there.
Well, no, I think the
way
I'm
it really got
you said started was like really got started and kicked into play into the 80s. Mm-hmm. But it took a while. And, I think by 82 or 83 they had a national system.
Right. I mean, for a lot of people out there, back in maybe 1984 or 1985 was the first time I ever watched professionals play 8-ball, and they played something very similar to what we're watching today.
Right.
Ball behind the line on scratches, slop rules.
Well, I think the first time I really saw it was when Gary Pinkowski won the World Series of Pool, and it was a $25,000 first place. Gary would go on to found the BC Open.
Ah, okay.
In Binghamton,
New York.
But pool in the 80s.
That's when I started playing in the 80s.
That's when I started playing as well. I was watching it. I got laid up. I got my knee almost ripped in half, and what ended up happening is I'm walking around in a cast and everything else. I flip on ABC or ESPN. Saturday afternoon, and I see Earl Strickland. The first shot I see in my life is He rolls behind a 5 ball and he needs to make the 3, jumps it, and runs out against Steve Miserak in the Caesars Tahoe Classic.
Wow.
The first shot I ever see in my pool career.
Wow.
I like watching pool.
That's amazing.
And I said, I might like this
Might
game.
like this game. That's right.
It's exciting.
I grew up watching Mike Siegel and Alan Hopkins, which is the reason why my form is just the worst out there. I mean, it's awful. I still have the Alan Hopkins follow through.
Moody and Chris Zaker, table 4.
Well, I was a geek. Not that I was, or, but I still am.
Not that you got out of that.
I read every book possible known to man. I mean, I think I slept with Ray Martin's 99 Critical Shots, and Bob Byrne put out a new book in those days called The Standard Book of Pool and
Billiards.
Yeah. And, I mean, you name it, I was reading it, and I slept with it under my pillow, and I learned every idea known to mankind when it came to pool. I became a student of the game.
The only fault I have with Bob Byrne's book is that he really needed to have, and I'm going to get into the techno geek thing here. One thing on deflection, because to me, I think that's what holds back the amateur player from being any better than just an also-ran. And if you look there's one shot very early in the book, and he just glosses over saying this is a tricky little shot. It's just a very simple shot with inside English, and it's like that is the whole key. How to use inside English, outside English with deflection, or cue ball squirt, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But Bob Byrne, I mean, that book is probably one of the best books out there. And as you said, Ray Martin, his book, those two are probably the best 2 basic books out there.
Yeah.
Ray Martin lives in St. Petersburg. Actually, he lives in Largo, which is just north of St. Petersburg. But we say St. Petersburg. I see Ray once a week. His home pool room is in the St. Pete area, Largo area.
Well, tell him I said hello.
Okay.
We recently videoed some of his matches at the World 14.1 tournament, and
right.
he took down Oliver Ortman, defending champion.
That's nice. So Ray was just inducted into what they're calling the World Straight Pool Hall of Fame. And, of course, Ray Martin belongs in anybody's Hall of Fame, don't get me wrong. I have to question if there's 2 people who are going to be inducted as the inaugural Straight Pool Hall of Fame members. I would think that Willie Mosconi would be in there. Irving Crane might be somebody. Jerome Keogh, and I believe Jerome was the other one, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe Jerome was.
It was Jerome Keogh.
Jerome Keogh is the innovator of straight pool.
Yes,
or 14-1. Ray Martin is a great guy, and he absolutely belongs in anybody's Hall of Fame. Maybe second year.
Yeah.
But, Ray is here in the St. Pete area, Largo. Still talking about pool, still loving the game.
We videotaped the Hall of Fame induction, and we streamed it live, and we have that up on YouTube, of course, so you go back and see it. But one of my favorite moments was when he was on What's My Line, and it was a great little piece of video history. Kind of great. If you get a chance, you should check it out.
Need to see that. So I'd like to give a shout out to another pool hall in the area. It's the Corner Pocket Billiards. Again, I believe it's in Largo. And when I go there, they'll probably hate me because it's probably not in Largo, but I believe it's in Largo.
Probably 2 blocks away from Largo, right? But you need to be from the area. I noticed that something about Florida is you go down 4 blocks and you're in a different city.
That's right. The other pool hall that they're doing the APA Nationals here is in Clearwater, which is 2 towns down. That's at
Crooked Q.
Crooked Q.
Yeah, from what I understand, that's a nice location as well.
Another nice location, another nice pool hall. They've got a couple of diamond tables, and the rest of them, they might be Gandys. You see a lot of Gandys and Robertson tables around here.
Yeah, I would think that you would see a lot of Robertsons as well. They've always been a big, strong Florida pool table. And they play good. I mean, you got to play well. You got to hit the ball clean in the hole, or you can just take a seat.
Anyway, back to the game here. We're still in the fourth game of this match. Aaron is up. It looks like he's shooting the high ball. Pounds one in, but he lost this ball.
Well, he's still going to have an issue with that 14 ball, or well, it looks like 15 ball on the side.
On the side,
there.
and that's been there since the break.
Yeah, and unless he can find a way to maybe get behind that 14 ball over on the other side and shoot it in, nothing looks like it's going to carry him off of it.
Right.
So he's going to have to pluck it clean, unless he can draw off this 9 and relocate it here. Let's see if he sees that and if he wants to try.
Well, it's again, JR, I think he really needs to take a look at it. Just go over there and take a look at what that ball needs to do to get past that upper point. If he's just playing for it, he may land himself. Oh, he did exactly what you were trying to do. You said he tried to break into it, but to not go over there and see what your angle is a little bit. He's a good enough player that he's supposed to look.
Right.
Because it's free to hit it. He couldn't scratch if he hit it. Coming
and
from
he was
that
always
angle.
going to have a shot.
He'd be right in the center of the table.
The only time he wouldn't end up with the shot is if he hit right between the ball and the rail and hit ball first.
Mm-hmm. Froze himself right there.
And then the spin caught him and swung him back up into the object ball as it left the rail.
But it was clear he was trying to break into that ball, and I guess he got a little bit unlucky to get trapped up here, but it looks like a lot of players will just play a safety and try to get behind this 14. If you try to run this 11, if you try to play this 11, you still have the problem on the left. You still have that problem.
See if you can get a two-way, though, and maybe get behind a 14 for the shot that we were talking about.
And
look at this. He's relocating and just playing the safe.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot.
That's the way to do it.
That's a beautiful shot.
That's perfect. Meanwhile, it's the safe, but he was trying to relocate that ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
I would put that in an advance. I mean, I didn't see that immediately, and he did from his angle, and maybe everybody out there is saying, well, that's the obvious shot.
Well, it's so funny is we get trapped because we have to discuss most of the how to make the ball shot, right? We're not allowed to say, oh, I'd play safe here and there, because we'd be talking about it all day long. Especially with an amateur tournament
where you're going to see
play
a lot.
Safe. Actually, less often.
Never.
And they make everything they shoot at. Now, when we get into an amateur position, they're not playing safe and they're shooting.
That's right.
So generally, a pro leaves a table on a safe that's planned and obvious, and an amateur, he leaves a table on a miss.
Right. That's right.
So we were trapped. It's our story. We're going to stick to that, right?
Oh, the issues with commentating. Everybody should try it out. You can't see the table. You got an awful angle. You can't see the colors.
Two-dimensional. See, if we were right up on the table, folks, about 100 times each set, somebody would look over at us from the camera and say, would you guys shut up?
Get out of the way. Shut up. We are so far away. We're in the next zip code. We're in another town.
Yeah, you actually need a plane ticket or a really good bus to get from where we're at to where they're playing pool right now.
Wow. Straight shooter. He just steps up there and fires. Wow, if he missed that ball, look where he left us.
Yeah, well, it was there's still a little work to do with the 5, but I think it could have been managed.
Yeah. I like this, though. He'll pound this ball in and tuck towards the rail, keep it on the inside of this 10 ball. Inside of the 10 ball, now he'll just slide over for the 11 ball. And I like his chances from here. But the 5 ball, it's funny that 5 ball where it lays, it actually covers a lot of that 8 ball, doesn't it?
Sure does. I mean, it's big. It's the size of a basketball. I don't think it could have been better placed if you'd have put it there
ball
by
in hand. Well, he might go too far because he's not left-handed, and he needed to be able to fully shoot this ball to be able to get the right position on this 8 ball. Well, he goes left-handed again.
He goes left-handed like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. Follow and get the 8 ball into the corner pocket. Yeah. Nice job. Apparently, it is like nothing.
I mean, yeah, what do we know?
We're putting the fear of God into him, but he doesn't care. No problem.
All All right, we'll take a second to say thank you to one of our sponsors.
I'm John Hendrick, pool player and owner of the Green Room in Pineville, North Carolina. My serious players demand quality, and that's why I've switched to Milliken Super Pro. This cloth plays at the perfect speed. It lasts a long time, and the spill guard protection saves my tables from stains. It saves me money, and my customers love it.
Milliken Super Pro, exclusively from Sterling Gaming.
Milliken's got me covered. How about you?
You know, John White setting him up here for the start of Game 5. I think this is going to be our final game of 8-ball. I think we play 5 games of 8-ball, or
yes, 5
first
games of 8-ball.
or 8 games of 9-ball.
Aaron broke from the side like this before and hit the second ball, and he trapped that ball in the side pocket. And that was a pretty fairly long game. He hit the head ball this time.
Off the table.
Oh, he did hit the head ball last time. It went 2 rails, or something went 2 rails.
Well, it's ball in hand for John White, and John's looking at it.
And he popped the ball off the table last time. Also, he looked a little cluster in the middle.
Well, that 2-7 has a little bit of traffic going on with the 11, but I can see both stripes and solids can be ran out.
Yeah, because of the 2-7, I probably immediately look for the stripes.
That's what I'd go for. I'd just have that little extra insurance policy that there's, you know, a 2% advantage towards the stripes right now.
I guess the trickiest thing is what's your key ball, the ball before the 8-ball, and then what's your toughest ball.
Right.
I also look at, you know, as an amateur, I always look at what's the easiest ball to make first. And, you know, John's done pretty well on that shot, being down 2 games, and to fire that ball first, that was pretty exceptional.
Want to say hello to all of our folks out in the chat, hanging out, making fun of us, hopefully enjoying a little bit of good pool action. Want to pay particular thanks to Corner Market Bob and Upstate Al. Always a pleasure having those guys hang out, moderate the chat, help us promote our events. Thanks, guys. Doing a great job.
So this is an interesting out here because the ball right in the center of the table, for me, is probably the trickiest ball out there. And he has to play for it right now, and he'll play the 11-9 as the last 2 and 1 or 2 rails out for the 8-ball after the 9-ball.
I think he's going to play the 11 in the same corner that he's going to play the 8-ball, but he'll just shoot the 9 in the other corner and follow up 2 rails.
And I like this. You see how he's going around the table and taking a look. And that's what you're supposed to do in 8-ball. You will be a ball better if you just walk around the table. I guarantee it.
You know, you think you see the table like what we're seeing, but you don't.
You don't.
You really see it from the other angle. And let me give you this angle.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
It's very scenic, and it's what you see from eye level. But this is what you see if you start to analyze the table.
Right. I mean, there's a big difference between being straight on the 9-ball and having just a hair of a cut, and then having a lot of cut.
All right. And he played it right. He kept an angle on top of the 9, so you'd have 1 or 2 rails.
1 or 2 rails.
The 8. A little bit of high right.
Yeah. I like going 2 rails. He had more of an angle than what we were talking about.
Very soft touch. Let it the little bit of the spin catch, and there he goes. John White. Here he comes.
Really nice out there. Very, a picture perfect out. No issues.
No drama.
No drama.
Drama down. I mean, he ran out fairly
easy, and just what you say, drama is way overrated in 8-ball. If everything looks so simple so that everybody that's watching thinks anybody can do it, you did the right thing.
Yeah, you finally did it right. Yeah. Exactly.
And that was a big game because, 4-1 is a whole lot different than 3-2.
Yeah, in a race to 7, it's eternity. And just to give you an idea, this is these guys' first round match.
Oh, is that right? Wow, to draw these.
They're on the west side suddenly, and now what do we have? Ooh,
Right.
it's getting
So that even becomes even, especially for John, if he went down 4-1 in the first round. Wow. So that was huge, and now we switch over to 9-ball. JR, and this is an interesting thing, 9-ball across the country, if you can break from the side, you break from the side. I watch amateurs play from the center of the table on breaks, and I have no idea why. The corner ball is almost automatic to go in, and as you see on a Brunswick Gold Crown, that 6-ball flew in there. You didn't even have to hit the balls.
It was wired. John knew it was going. He got a little bit of an unlucky kiss with
How
the
did
one.
the 1 ball get down?
It hit the point of the side
Okay.
pocket
All right.
and literally went back between the 4-9.
Almost
Or
never does the 1 ball go down table like that on a break like that. Things have to go bad, and we play
There's-
safety, I guess, if you can
There's
see
a
it.
little piece of angle there, and he laid it up in there nice. Guess
Gorgeous. Or jail.
what? Oh, my Lord.
Jail.
You can get there right past the,
The five-
4
the 5
to
ball.
the 7 and spin up and barely catch a 1, and part of those hits are a scratch. Thank goodness.
Well, oddly enough, the 1 ball is kind of like a big ball, but the 5 ball just makes it scary, I guess. But it's not easy. The 5 ball suddenly makes this tougher.
Well, he can hit this ball with low left and try and
Hold.
flatten it and get in between the 1 and the rail and the 5, and it's an automatic hit.
Yeah,
I don't
as
like
long as
that.
you go between the 5 and the rail, you can hit the 1, whether
Yeah.
or not it goes to a rail.
Yeah, it
Where's the referee?
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. I wouldn't even think about it. This kick.
And he's hit it. Balls are going, and it's going to be. I don't like
Farm for sale. Two horses in the tractor.
There you go. you see how John put his hand on the table and said stop like that? I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
The balls haven't stopped yet. Stay off the table.
Yeah.
That's my point of view. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but that would drive me insane if my opponent did that too many times.
I used to have a real big problem with people touching the table.
The balls haven't stopped.
then
You
they're-
can't touch the table.
Yeah, just don't touch it. And
Right.
I've had guys slamming their hand trying to stop a ball. You know what I mean? Like
yes, the slap on the table. How about this one where people leap out of their chair to catch the cue ball drop into the pocket? It's going to come out or it's going to stay in the pocket.
Yeah,
Nothing,
just let it
just let it go.
Yeah, it's not like we've inconvenienced
That's
you.
right.
I haven't said you got to dig a ditch between here and your car.
Right, if that ball doesn't come out,
You owe
watch
me
out here.
$12.
That's right.
Right.
The 4 ball's tricky here. Getting back to the game, I don't know if he has any kind of angle.
He's going to run into the 9.
If he can do that,
If he can spike it and hit the top side of the 9, it's a no-brainer. If he can't, he's going to have to roll perfectly forward because the 7 is going to be his worst nightmare. He may consider drawing it if he got enough room here.
if he just snatches it back one ball rotation, or unless a stop shot gets it, then as a left-hander, this is a lot. No. Oh, he just safed himself like crazy. So everything we talked about, that was the issue with it.
That was it.
That was it. That was it. But he can reach this and at least kick at it. Not that he's the favored. He's the favorite to hit it, but,
My favorite kick here is to hit the 4 straight up table and let the cue drift to the rail where the 7 is.
how many
Whether
ti-
you hit on top of it or
Right.
below it.
How many
It's a-
times do you kick this ball, fire it right in the corner pocket, and get stuck right on the 9 ball? This will happen to me every single time, because I can't make a kick unless I can get stuck on the next ball. Where's the sellout?
Hey, he hit
that's
that
all right.
pretty darn
That's
good,
all right.
didn't he?
That's all right. I like it.
Nice speed. But you can see if he hits that a little bit thinner and it goes straight down table, that cue can walk right behind his 7.
Exactly.
And that's one of my favorite road shots.
J.R. Calvert, the ex-road player. When's the last time you played a tournament? When's the last time you played? I mean, you can't tell me you haven't played in like 10 years because you and I played partners one time.
Yeah, no, to play seriously, and he just laid down. To play
Nice safety,
seriously,
nice safety.
the IBC, Sally and I went to a tournament in 2002, and the IBC needed some players, and I said, well, you know what, I'll go ahead. And I borrowed a cue, and I played in it, and I might add that I cashed and made money.
Sweet.
And then I said, you know what? That's a good record to end a career. And
Sweet.
Since then, I've been so busy, I haven't even picked up a cue again. But yeah.
That's great.
So 2002 was the last tournament that I played.
Well, I can honestly say that the last serious tournament I played was a partners tournament. It was a year-end state tournament, and my partner and I won it, Massachusetts.
Awesome. Who was your partner?
His name is Rob Tatro. Rob is a long time league player, good friend of mine, and he goes up and down from Massachusetts to Florida. And it was the end of the year and the end of that particular league. So we are the New England Billiard League Partners Tournament champion.